Okay, good morning, everybody. Glad to see you all today. Thank those of you who are here and on time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Those of you who aren't here yet, shame on you. Okay, so I wanted to start with we have, I think, at least one new person. Paloma, you want to introduce yourself real quickly and just briefly tell people what you're going to be doing here? And then maybe we'll add a little more time for you to tell people what you need or want or so forth. So please go ahead.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Paloma. I'm an AmeriCorps member serving with Michelle's office, the Pima County Office of Digital Inclusion. Um, this year, I'll be working on helping to develop a train the trainer model for digital navigation. I'm still kind of doing my research and seeing what we've already got going on right now, but I'm looking forward to being here with you all and attending these meetings going forward.
Sounds great. Thanks, Paloma. Welcome. Do we have anybody else who's new this morning? Going once, going twice. Okay, so let's jump into the meeting this morning. And Cindy, do you want to do a quickie announcement, please?
Sure, that'd be great. Welcome, Paloma. I'm a former AmeriCorps member as well. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cindy Hogan. I'm the board chair of the Arizona Digital Inclusion Network. We're a coalition of organizations and individuals working throughout Arizona to be sure that everyone has the opportunity to get, stay, and thrive online. We meet every other Thursday from noon to 1. I'll put a link to our website in the chat and my email as well if you want to learn more about us or join our meetings. So there's that. This morning I wanted to let you know about a couple of things. October 6th through 10 is the National Digital Inclusion Week. It's a week of public events across the country to raise awareness about that the digital divide is still with us in a lot of ways, and also to acknowledge all of the hard work that's happening around the country to close that divide. Aiden's participation in that this year is the circulation of a letter to the Arizona Attorney General and the governor to request that that Arizona lead or join a lawsuit to reinstate the Digital Equity Act. Arizona was set to receive $52 million approximately for programs varying from teaching older adults how to attend telehealth appointments, providing affordable devices to families who need them, teaching digital skills to those who need them to enter the workforce, and so forth. So people are signing the letter as we speak. I sent it out to my group on Monday, and Steve, I'm sure Steve has sent it out to others in this group as well. I do have a link to the letter so you can read it. You can sign the letter. There's a link in the letter to sign a form that gets your name or organization into the system. And you will be able to sign as a member of the AZBSN Digital Access Task Force and claim that coalition for your own in that letter. So that was what I wanted to share today. I'm happy to take any questions, or you can email me with questions after the fact.
And I will be including that in the newsletter this week.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Steve.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see anybody from the broadband office this morning. I don't see Molly either. Anybody from the state library? I don't know where everybody is.
Here.
I'm
I
sorry. Who
I
is it?
am here.
Oh, there you are, Mama. Oops,
Very,
sorry.
I'm there in the chat as well. So you missed
Hey,
me both places.
so Mama, you got some updates for us, both anything with the state library as well as all the other national stuff that's happening.
Oh my God, the national stuff, I'm not going there. But but yes, as far as E-rate is concerned, let me start with that. Yeah, as you all know, we receive E-rate funding commitment in waves as they review all of the applications. We've received 22 waves now and about $44 million of the almost 100 million that we applied for. This is both schools and libraries, and this is for the year 2025-26. The administrative window opens on October 15th. And what this administrative window means is that there is a lot of data that USAC gathers from libraries and schools before they actually open the application window in March. So the time between October and usually around the first week of January, they collect administrative data. And this data is like on square footage of libraries or any changes of an address, any addition to any part of a library, any annexes or things like that that they may have added. All of the, and for schools, they gather the student count because all those impact the amount that USAC can approve for us. Of course, it's based on the NSLP data, so the school lunch program data. So, and that's important. So the latest school lunch program data, usually it's collected in March and October. So as soon as the October statistics becomes available, that can be sent to USAC around they accept up to the beginning of January. They haven't announced the last date yet. So that is an opportunity for us to update our own data. It's not like the data cannot be updated afterwards. After that, you will have to go through the customer service and have, create a ticket and then have them updated for you. So during this window time, you can actually do it yourself. And that's coming up on October 15th. There's still time, but it's good to gather all that data right now. Hotspots and bus Wi-Fi. I told you I won't touch anything federal, but I just wanted to let you know that September 30th, there is an open meeting. FCC has an open meeting, and on the agenda, we first noticed that hotspots and bus Wi-Fi was not school bus Wi-Fi was not on the agenda, and as I've mentioned in the previous meetings, there is a letter being circulated about creating a declaratory ruling to remove bus Wi-Fi and hotspots, and it's still going on the rounds with FCC commissioners. That has prompted this to be put on the agenda. So anyone can attend it. It's an open meeting and it's available live, and I'll drop the link in the chat. It's www.fcc.gov/live. And it's always been the same link. So I'll throw that in the chat in just a second. The open meeting agenda has things like accelerating the wireless infrastructure build out. There's an agenda item on freeing any infrastructure unlawful. I don't know what they mean by unlawful regulatory burdens. So they would like to review those. Also on the agenda item that we are concerned about will be deleting obsolete and duplicative wireline rules. So they're looking at all those regulations. There was something circulated a few months ago which was titled delete. And they asked for comments on that. And several organizations have commented on what rules are obsolete, what can be deleted, what are duplicative, what are overlapping, and those kind of things. So that's already, the comments have already been received and they are reviewing it. So whatever the decision they take or the discussions they have will happen on that day. They're also talking about modernizing the E-rate program, and again, making any changes to or amendments to the rules. And they added in the last minute the homework gap, addressing the homework gap through hotspots and Wi-Fi on school buses. They gave until the end of that day, that was 2 days ago, on to respond to it. Luckily, Shelby, EdLink, and ALA had already gathered some of these comments together. They kind of finalized it and put it out. I will see if I can summarize it for you and send it to you, Steve, what all of those comments are, but we've already seen them, why hotspots are important, why school bus Wi-Fi is important, and things like that. So other than that, we are participating with Cindy on add-in projects on October 16th. It would be through Force for Health. Lucy is not here today, I think. I don't see her. But Lucy Howell is spearheading that, and we'll showcase what's happening, at least around the libraries and schools, on telehealth. Back to you, Steve.
Okay, so Mala, I hope I didn't miss it, but do we have any sense that the issue about the school bus issue would get folded into the overall discussion about USF or not?
No, it will not get folded into it. That's a separate discussion. Right now, it's good you asked that question, because the fourth quarter estimates are at 38% for the participating service provider. So it's really, really getting up there. So there will be a separate discussion on that, and there are Senator Lujan and others are having, they have their own committee that's reviewing it. It doesn't look like it's heading to a conclusion yet. They're still in the discussion phase, and there's so many other things that are happening that this is kind of taken a back burner. But it's not going to be very long before it's taken up, because the service providers are hurting, having to pay 38% towards this. So it's going to be taken up fast. But this one, it will. This is on the agenda for September 30th. So the decision will be made soon on bus Wi-Fi. And the problem also is that there have been many applications for 2025-26 for both hotspots as well as bus Wi-Fi, and they're all pending. They haven't been taken up for review yet. And 2024 is being disbursed now. The bus Wi-Fi has already happened, not bus Wi-Fi, at least hotspots have already been applied for, approved, and they've been utilized as well. And the payment, reimbursement payments have already been submitted. So some of them have even received the payments. And there were discussions about having to refund USAC all of those 2024 funding, which none of the libraries or schools have the funding to reimburse what has already been utilized. So the discussions about let 2024 go, don't go back and try to get the money back from 2024. Don't apply this retrospectively. So let's see what the discussions result in.
Okay. Any questions for Mala? Anthony, I apologize, I didn't see you there. Do you have anything that you want to add? Anthony, are you there? Well, he's maybe not there. Okay, so let's do a couple of quick announcements and then we're going to get into our presentation from Rebecca this morning. Michelle, you got an event, you and Paloma want to talk about the event you guys got coming up here pretty shortly.
Absolutely. So on October the 7th, we will be hosting a community service provider forum in Tucson at Literacy Connects. The event will go from 8:30 to 12:30. It is a hybrid event, so there is an in-person component, but we will also have a virtual option. I will send out the link to the virtual part of it to anybody who has registered by October the 3rd. And I am happy to forward the link. I'm on my telephone, so I don't have it right at this moment, but I'll forward it to you, Steve, so that you can put it in your newsletter that you send out. Okay.
Sounds great. And I probably have it since I'm on your advisory committee.
Absolutely.
So before we get into our presentation for today, Paloma, do you want to talk any more? I mean, you did a quickie intro. Do you want to just talk a little more about what you need, what you're looking for, what kind of input you'd like from people?
Right now, I'm kind of in that information gathering phase. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, I'll have more of an idea of what to ask from you
Okay.
all. I'm still pretty new to the digital inclusion space, so I want to make sure I'm like very familiar with everything Michelle's already done. Get to take a look at some of the research and data that's been gathered thus far in the office. And just kind of try to be a sponge and soak up everything I'm hearing from everybody right now. So I'll definitely continue to attend these meetings. I'm taking down everybody's information, so I'll definitely be in contact if anything comes to mind before I meet with you all next.
Sounds great. Thanks, Paloma. Thanks for being here,
Of
and look
course.
forward to working with you.
Me too.
Any other
Thank
quick
you.
any other quick announcements before we move on to Rebecca this morning? Going once, going twice. Okay, so let me introduce Rebecca Carter with Native Networks, and she's going to kind of talk about what they're doing here in Arizona, who they are, and what they're doing, particularly here in Arizona. So with that, Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, thank you for having me today. So I usually am here, but maybe not with my camera on. So nice to see everyone today. And Steve reached out and said, hey, people may not know who you all are and what you're doing here in Arizona. So can you kind of give us a little bit of an overview and then talk maybe specifically about a few, um, you know, specific projects that you have going on. So I am Rebecca Carter, the Director of Tribal Programs and Professional Services at Native Network. And we work with both tribes and rural municipalities across the United States. We have several customers in Arizona, so I actually am spending quite a bit of time there these days. I just got back from Tucson on Monday, and I'm heading back to northern Arizona this coming Monday. So I'm in Washington State, and so we're close enough, and so spend a lot of time there these days, and really enjoy the work that's going on there. And that's part of why our co-founder Jenny Rickle has been participating in this group actually for I think many years at this point.
Yes.
And so we are a part of a lot of different broadband action teams. We really try to understand the context of the locations where we are serving customers and working with customers. So we are also on another branch of our business, a local ISP here in Central Washington State. And so we actually started out, our co-founders had a Cellular One franchise at one point and sold that. And so have been involved in telecom for about 30 years. And so we really have taken that internet service provider and network knowledge and are working to support tribes and then also rural municipalities to develop out their goals and strategic plans for broadband and then helping them realize those. And we really have a broad set of work that we do. You know, sometimes we're helping write grants, and we actually did two different grants in Arizona for the digital equity pot of money. And of course, we know where those ended up for this last round. And so unfortunately, you know, nothing has moved forward with those. One was a municipality and one was for a tribe. And so we are always looking to see, you know, the next steps for the work that we're doing with our customers. You know, right now with the Pasquayaki tribe, we have a deployment of 5 tower sites. Some of them are, you know, one's a rooftop, one, we have 2 co-locations, and then a new build, and then another one. So we are about 3/4 of the way through that project. So very exciting work. It's been going on for quite some time. That was a TBCP1 project. So those grants were written in 2020 and 2021 and awarded in 21. And what we're finding across the country is that a lot of those TBCP1 projects were pretty significantly delayed. And they're, you know, for a number of reasons, but kind of a failure to launch in a lot of situations. And so we are often brought in to help get things rolling again and to support those projects really getting off the ground before it's not an option anymore. And so we're very happy to be helping kind of recover some of those projects throughout the US. And we're seeing some starting to get rolling that have been, you know, kind of in that state of not launching for now 3 to 4 years. And it's very exciting. It's very exciting work. And we tend to really dig in with our customers and do a lot of different types of work with them, you know, whether that is ISP business planning and doing performas and helping, you know, either tribes or municipalities take a look at what their options are and feasibility, all the way to, you know, deciding what kind of business entity they might have. And then we have a couple different models of how we support the formation of a tribal or municipal ISP. And then sometimes they ask us to run it under their brand. Sometimes we run it under the native brand, and sometimes we transfer it and actually the tribe runs it themselves eventually. So our main focus with tribes is to help support their digital sovereignty. And that is, you know, their control over their data and their infrastructure and the ability to serve their members their way. And a lot of it is about affordable access. Sometimes the thing that we see in, you know, federal funding programs is that it is about creating access, but in some of these areas where there might be access but not affordability, all of a sudden that, you know, kind of changes the conversation. And so we're definitely passionate about the backside of infrastructure builds, which is definitely the digital inclusion space. Because if you know, I was telling Steve, I said, if you have infrastructure, that's great, but if nobody can run it or use it, then you have infrastructure that's just sitting there and not really serving people. And so it's really, we take a pretty holistic view from the very early gathering funding and providing feasibility and funding opportunities all the way through to, you know, how do we get people to actually benefit from the infrastructure that's being put in, and how can we support those programs? So that's kind of the whirlwind tour of everything that we do. And we are very happy to be here with this team. And I'm just always so encouraged by, you know, a lot of passionate people here who are doing work, and kind of the unsung heroes of the Arizona broadband space of, you know, making sure that people can utilize broadband connections to enhance their lives and provide opportunities. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. You're on mute.
I have my recycling truck driving around back here,
Oh,
so I didn't want to disturb people. Um, so any questions for Rebecca? Going once, going
Hey, Steve,
twice.
this is Vaughn Croft, Job Corps in Tucson. And as you know, Steve, my attending these meetings, I'm always curious about the rural area. And we do have a fair number, a good number of Native Americans that come here, youth ages 16 to 24. So I'm glad to hear that there's some, internet access and cell towers or whatever we can to get out there to those areas that she's talking about. So thank you.
thank you.
Good. Actually, you want to introduce yourself quickly, Vaughn?
Yeah, I'm from Fred G. Costa Job Corps Center. I'm an outreach public relations, and I put together councils and committees that support what we're to do or should do, and for communication out to the community at large, along with all of our government contacts. So it's a fun job, I enjoy it, and I've been very happy to be part of watching the activity that Steve, that you've been putting together for all this digital broadband and all the activities that are going on, and make sure we're all getting connected.
So, Vaughn, why don't you take a couple minutes? We've got some time. We're actually way ahead of schedule, so we're doing good. You want to tell people a little more about Job Corps and what
Yeah, I
Job
can do
Corps
that.
is?
I can do that. We start by serving youth ages 16, youngest, 24, the oldest. It does then go to low income. I always jokingly but seriously say, you take the most prestigious high school, even in the local area, and how many high school graduates have an income of any great amount. It's not a criticism, it's just a reality. So we're available for career technical training in a variety of areas and a variety of directions, which does include the whole digital area too. So that's all available. And upon starting Job Corps, uh, they get paid a small stipend of money every 2 weeks. We provide their uniforms that they wear, which represents the industry or the career that they're looking to go into. All of our training instructors are really highly qualified in the industrial or career field that they are instructing. And, this thing doesn't stop, everyone. It just keeps going. Upon getting to a conclusion of your training here at this center, if you want a higher level of training and it's in the Job Corps system, which most likely it is, here's your airline tickets. You're off to that center. It's all paid for by Job Corps. Or if you want to stay local, we can connect you with no cost involved into Pima Community College to get into the associate degree. And in some cases, they connect on to the bachelor's degree over at the U of A in the related field. So this is quite an entity. And lastly, I'd say, Steve, that we do drug tests, but we don't drug test to eliminate students. We drug test to keep them in the program. And if upon drug testing, when they enter the program, if there is a score that shows that they've got some issues in their system, no, we don't send them home or we don't expel them. What we do is we put them in by their choice, of course, we put them in drug counseling. And 38 days later, we retest them. Obviously, then if it shows a drop, they're fine. They're with us, and they're not going to be expelled. And secondly, I guess you'd add too, Steve, that everyone has some little issues in life, and if it's a little bit of behavior or a mental issue, we've got those professional counseling services, along with the general wellness center, looking at your oral, your the issues of your teeth, and your physical makeup, your physical well-being. And if there's anything really of necessary to attention, a couple doctors come here from Banner 2 or 3 days a week as needed. So we're a complete wraparound service. And if you don't have a place to stay, you can live here, particularly if you are coming from outside of the Pima County area, because we serve 7 counties, Pinell, Yuma, of course, Pima, Santa Cruz, Graham, Greeley, and Cochise. And I'm connected in all 7 counties. I don't brag about it, but I'm in what's called the Workforce Investment Board partner category, and I'm on some of the boards. And it's a fun job. I enjoy all of the connections that I get involved in. And Steve, I've enjoyed watching and listening to all the presenters that come into this meeting, as well as the others that are set up. So I hope that gives you a little snippet of what we do and where we are. And thank you very much.
Any questions for Vaughn?
I might say on the federal funding side, Steve, that we're not hurting. So far we are escaping all of the cuts going forward, which the budget work that's going on right now in the Senate and the House is about the budget that begins July 1 of 26 and runs to the end of June of 29. And so we're looking good in all those planning documents, and we're not fearing that there's any closures as far as we're concerned.
So Vaughn and I go back probably, what, 30 years, Vaughn?
Well, it depends how you say that.
Just before you were at
Yeah.
Job Corps.
I think you can mark 30 on that calendar.
Not that I'm that old, but
I think I was involved, but I don't lay any claim to what I'm going to say. But it's just an affectionate, respectful way of saying it. Steve had me involved a little bit about some questions about his son's development and going forward when he was about 10, 11 years old. And I'm not the reason he is where he is now, but he is doing very well in the engineering field as Steve has brought his name up in different topics here in the meetings.
yeah. Okay.
Steve, I have a question for Vaughn.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yes,
Hi,
Kelly.
Vaughn. I'm Kelly Mukherjee from ASU's Enterprise Technology. I support our CIO, Lev Gonick, on broadband and digital inclusion efforts.
Okay.
And based on the stories that you shared today, we have a whole community storytelling section where we love to amplify all the great work happening in the state of Arizona. Can we meet up and maybe learn about your stories? Perhaps
Sure.
we can share some stories out on our community website.
Absolutely. I'll throw my contact information over in the chat here. And I'll also say, as you were asking or making that statement, we were in a little bit of an issue with, well, I won't explain it all right now, but anyway, I interviewed some of the youth that are here at the center, and there were some very, very successful telling stories about why they are so pleased that they found or they were introduced to Job Corps.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. We are
Sure.
looking for the community impact stories. How have all your efforts here from this amazing group of people impacted the community in a positive way? And if others have stories like that, please feel free to reach out. I left my contact information in the chat. Happy to meet you all.
Thank you very much.
So Vaughn, you've been attending these meetings for a long time, but I don't think we've ever really talked with you about, what are you guys doing in the digital inclusion space? And is there
Well,
something we can do to help you with that?
We've got the whole computer side of things, not on our campus, but at other centers that you can go into. And I also would say this, Steve, to those that are also listening, when you apply here, let's say at the Fred G. Costa Job Corps Center, because of where your zip code is, you become our application center. If the let's say the digital type program that you want to go into training for is not in Tucson, obviously, it's going to be some of the Job Corps Center at some other state. You get admitted into Job Corps here at Tucson, we hand you your airline tickets and you're off to that center. And they take care of you lock, stock, and barrel while you're there, just as though you were here within the training program that we have here in Tucson. And upon finishing that program, if there's an advanced level above that, particularly in this whole digital connection area, then same thing. Job Corps covers all the expenses and you're off to that other center for a higher level of training and development.
Okay. Any more questions for Vaughn? Aaron, you got the event coming up pretty soon. You want to talk about the mission event coming up?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Steve. My name is Erin Lorandos. I am helping Mission Telecom get together for a digital inclusion conversation on the 21st of October. I actually dropped the link in the chat a little bit ago, but I'll redrop it here. We're bringing together folks that are here in the state that are doing this work to kind of just keep the conversation going. I mean, it's very timely that you gave me the mic right now, because this is exactly what we're talking about. There are still some spaces available. However, it is a limited space. And so if you're interested in attending, I encourage you to register soon. The cool part is Mission Telecom is a nonprofit ISP. and they're here as community partners. One organization that's a prime example of a partnership that folks in this space will recognize is with AZ Strut, who is a refurbisher in the Mesa area serving the state, and they're working together to provide internet through their hotspot program with Mission. So I'll redrop that. As long as I've got the mic, I'll also just highlight the other thing I put in the chat. During Digital Inclusion Week, the AIDN, Arizona Digital Inclusion Network, is partnering with the Collaborative Community, which is a project out of the Chicago area that highlights artists in the digital inclusion space. So those of us who are writers or painters or sculptors or whatever art means to you in our free time, get together and share some of that work. And so there will be an opportunity to participate in a showcase during Digital Inclusion Week. It is a virtual opportunity, of course, because they're in Chicago and we're here. But for those of you who are familiar with the Net Inclusion Conference, the reason we're doing this specifically this time around is because we hosted it this year back in May, and Chicago is hosting it in February. So it's kind of a good bridging of the gap there between the two states as we fight to bridge the digital divide. So I'll redrop those links for you. But thank you for the opportunity, and let me know if there are any questions on either of those.
Okay. Any other announcements? Anything people want to talk about? So while I've got you and we got just a couple more minutes, what other kinds of things would you guys like to hear about for future meetings? Don't everybody talk at once.
Hi,
Well,
Steve, it's
yeah.
Sharika.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sharika.
So I would like to know more, and if anyone has any contacts on more resources from various aspects of either grants or collaborations or partnerships. I think I don't get to attend these very much because I have meetings now on Thursday at 8 a.m. and today it just happened to get canceled. But I think as a lot of our organizations, especially the nonprofit side, we're trying to grow and a lot of the funds were unfortunately not available anymore, trying to figure out the new avenues to get resources to our organizations. I think that to continue this work, right? How do we continue this digital equity work when a lot of it was built around or created around federal, state, and local funding, where all of that's being dismantled? So what are the private foundations that are out there that could help us? And there may be no one on this call, but I think it's a conversation that we need to look at, and then, how are we going to continue this work? Because I know some organizations have had to fold. So what is it going to take to keep us moving in that direction? And how do we get resources to do that? So that would be my recommendation on some future conversations, if it's possible.
Yeah, it is absolutely an important discussion. And I've actually been thinking that maybe we need to actually have a little task group like we did when we first started this group to really look at that whole issue and come up with some plans and strategies. So
Because I know, because I know Local First no longer really writes grants they have switched their focus to rural communities and tribal. So yeah, where else are our options to go for either grant writing or grants and funding? So.
Sure. Well, Sharika, when we first started, and there's some of you who have been around for a long time with us, that was one of the things that we recommended is that the state, and this was before we were into this whole digital inclusion space, but we had recommended that the state needed to have a mechanism such as what rural Arizona First used to do, but we needed to really have an entity who could research foundations and resources, help organizations to write grants. And that's particularly important and particularly for smaller organizations who don't have the capacity to write grants and manage the grants and all that sort of stuff, that we really needed an entity in the state to do that. And in my opinion, we still don't have that happening. So it's certainly something that I've been thinking about, of how do we move that needle again. So thank you for bringing that up, Sharika, and I'll think some more about how do we, if nothing else. But Kelly, this would also relate to you, and we can talk some more about what resources. I mean, we've had a lot of people who have come and presented to this group. I don't know if you've captured all of those. I know you follow up with a lot of people, but a lot of those folks do provide grants, do provide assistance in planning, writing grants, and so forth. And so need to talk with you about, because I have not done that on our website, and I'm not sure I want to do that, particularly with your resource. And so I want to talk with you about how do we make that happen, and then of course help to continue to promote it. You're on mute.
Oops, I went the wrong way. We'd be happy to share on AZBSN. So yes, Steve, let's get some time on the calendar to talk through that.
Yeah. And as I think I mentioned to you in another forum, about how do we maybe do some kind of a feed that you do what you do, but it will also feed into our website, because I don't want to duplicate it. I don't have the resources, but it's something that would be helpful possibly for other organizations also. So definitely we'll have a conversation about that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sharika. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to see us discuss? Well, I'm going to stop recording them, and if anybody else, we're sort of kibitzing already, but if anybody has